What's the dumbest reason you found yourself in court? My ex-roommate sued me over a jar of pickles. When I moved out last March, I was rushing to pack everything before the lease ended. I accidentally grabbed what I thought was my pickle jar from our shared fridge. 3 weeks later, I'm at my new apartment when a process server shows up at my door. I get handed official court papers for theft of irreplaceable family heirloom valued at $50,000. I'm thinking this has to be some kind of joke. I called my ex-roommate Jake, thinking we could sort this out like adults. Big mistake. Jake starts screaming about how I've destroyed his family legacy. Turns out this wasn't just any pickle jar. It was his great-grandmother's original 1943 mason jar that she'd used to make pickles for 60 years during and after the Great Depression. The actual pickles inside were supposedly the last batch she ever made before she passed away in 2019. I'd already eaten all of them. They were just sitting in my fridge, and I thought they were mine. Jake had been saving them as some kind of family shrine. Just kept them next to my leftover Chinese takeout and expired yogurt like it was normal food. The court date arrives, and I'm expecting this to get thrown out immediately. Instead, Jake shows up with his entire extended family like it's a funeral. His aunt takes the witness stand and starts crying while testifying about the sacred pickle recipe that had been passed down through 4 generations. She brings out this weathered recipe card written in his great-grandmother's handwriting, talks about how they survived the Depression by selling pickles door to door for 15 cents a jar. Then his cousin brings photo albums, actual photo albums showing this jar at every major family event since 1962. She even had a picture of baby Jake holding the jar at his first birthday party. Jake takes the stand and reveals his master plan. He'd been saving money to have the jar and remaining pickles professionally preserved by a museum preservation specialist. He has actual quotes: $200 for climate-controlled display case, $800 for chemical preservation treatment. The guy had researched everything. He knew the exact type of glass, the manufacturing date of 1943, even the history of the ball jar company that made it. He'd contacted pickle historians. Jake had created a whole timeline showing how this jar had survived multiple moves, floods, and family disputes. He'd traced its journey through 5 different states and 3 generations of his family. The judge, trying to keep a straight face, asks the obvious question: if this was so valuable, why did you keep it in a shared refrigerator with regular groceries? Jake's response was priceless. He said he trusted me to recognize its obvious historical significance and that any reasonable person would know not to eat vintage family pickles. He claimed the jar had unmistakable antique characteristics that should have been immediately apparent to anyone with basic cultural awareness. Then I make my defense. I offer to buy him a replacement jar and some new pickles. Same brand, same size, everything identical. I even volunteer to pay for a nice display case if it means that much to him. Jake absolutely loses it, starts screaming in the courtroom that I'm desecrating his ancestry with grocery store substitutes and that I've violated the sacred trust of pickle preservation. He yells that I've committed culinary assault against his family history. The bailiff has to calm him down while his entire family nods along. His aunt is dabbing her eyes with tissues like I just burned down their house. The judge finally speaks up. He says while the jar clearly had sentimental value, keeping irreplaceable family heirlooms in a shared fridge without proper labeling was poor custodial judgment. Then ordered me to pay Jake $47, the cost of replacing 1 jar of Vlasic dill pickles and the court filing fee.